for so long, might as well go to A&E.
Yeah.
Now I went to A&E. By the time I got to A&E, 111 answers like, well, I'm in A&E now, so there's no point. Just use this. So got to A&E, and they just have no. This was Darren Valley. They have no. They're dehumanized, I'd say. There's like no human kind of feeling, and I guess maybe because they see so many people, they've lost that human touch. So I got there and I explained to the lady what happened, and I broke down in tears because obviously this is still fresh. I'm literally bleeding now, and I don't know what's happening with my body. And they just ticked normal triage or whatever, which I thought was insane because like I'm telling you that I'm pregnant and I'm bleeding. So surely to me, that should be like an urgent situation because it's like it could have been anything to do with that pregnancy. It could have been ectopic, and thank God it wasn't. It could have been so many things. So for you to just tick it down as normal triage, which means I'm gonna have to wait for hours and hours in torture because in my mind I don't know what's going on. So now I'm mentally being tortured, thinking, am I losing my baby? So now I go to the reception. I can still barely talk. Hand in my form as normal. Then I go to sit and wait for them to triage me. I'm literally in there with the nurse and I'm just in tears, just crying and stuff. And obviously she's like telling me she's sorry and all that kind of stuff. So she had a bit more of a human approach, but then still put me in the waiting room to wait for 4 hours. Yes, 4 hours. I had to do a urine sample. I did that and I had to wait 4 hours just to see a doctor. And then that doctor had no human anything. Nothing. She was just like asking me stupid questions about like, have I been go to the toilet a lot? All manners of nonsense questions. I'm like, I'm pregnant and I'm bleeding, and you're asking me about my urine. I like, am I going to the toilet a lot? Do I feel pain in my belly? What relevance is that?
And
like
at this moment,
at this point, and she's not talking about pain in terms of like the cramps or whatever. She's talking about pain like just in random places that have nothing to do with anything. And so I have to remind her that I'm pregnant, like and then she just kind of brushing that part off, and it was just a horrible experience. So then I don't even remember how we left it. She said that my urine was showing signs of leukocytes, and my blood pressure was high. But don't really know what that means. Leukocytes is, I don't really even know what that means, but it alludes to maybe an infection of some sort.
Okay.
And then she kind of said my blood pressure was high, so they want me to go and wait to see if my blood pressure will come down. My blood pressure came down, and then she just said, okay, she's going to refer me to EPU, which is the early pregnancy unit, for a scan. So I'm like, okay, cool. Are they definitely going to call me? Because I've been to Darren Valley before, and I'll go into that later. And they said they were going to refer me for a scan, and they didn't. So I'm just telling her that, can you make sure that you refer me? She said, yeah, definitely will happen. If it doesn't, then call us in the morning. I'm like, that if it doesn't, shouldn't even be there. First of all, I shouldn't even have to be in A&E to be referred to an early pregnancy unit.
And why not they seeing you that day?
It literally, they should either be doing that, or there should be another way for women who are having a miscarriage to be able to see the early pregnancy unit without having to wait 4 or 6 hours in A&E. There should be another process. Just because it's early pregnancy doesn't take away from the fact that you are a person with feelings and emotions and you are still pregnant. Even if it is early, you are still pregnant. So you have those feelings, you have those emotions, your body has changed. There should be another way that you should see the early pregnancy unit without having to wait in A&E and go through that mental torture. The next day I had to go back to A&E because my stomach I was in so much pain. Like I couldn't sleep. I laid down.
What do you mean the next day?
Yeah, the next day.
So they
didn't give me anything. They didn't tell me anything. They just told me that they're going to refer me, and EPU will contact me in the morning for a scan.
Is that normal behaviour for
A&E? Like every time I've been to A&E, that's just how it's been. So I now go home that night, and I couldn't lay on my sides. I was in so much pain. I couldn't lay down, so I'm going to have to go to A&E again. Came to A&E again, had to explain the whole thing again. They gave me, I had to wait 6 hours there that day. This day, I felt like I was going crazy. Like sitting in A&E for 6 hours, I genuinely felt like I was going mad because it was hot. People around me were fainting. Like, it was wild that day, and I was still bleeding. I still didn't know what's happening in my body. I don't know. Is this baby here? Is the baby okay? I didn't know what's going on. They were supposed to have taken a blood test from me the day before. They didn't do that. So, because even the lady I spoke to on the phone, she was like, "Oh, did they take a blood test?" And I said, "No." She said, "Why would they not have done that? I can't believe they didn't do that." Because, why would you not take a blood test? It's ridiculous. So I had to wait for 6 hours. They took a blood test, took a urine test and all that. I spoke to a Nigerian doctor. He still didn't have any empathy, but he was more like trying to see what the issue was. So he said that I had white blood cells in my urine, so it indicates signs of an infection, but I don't know what. So he just prescribed me antibiotics anyway. I just took them. So at this point, I was like, I cannot lay down. I cannot do anything. Like, my belly is just hurting. So I started on antibiotics. I had my scan. They saw the pregnancy sac there, which like filled me with some form of hope. Because I was like, at least I know that there's a pregnancy. I wouldn't make it up. Because at one point in A&E, it's like, I felt like I'd made up the fact that I was pregnant. I was thinking, I had to go in on the picture, zoom in, like, did I see, was it right? Because like, I felt like I was just going mad. Because it was like the way they were just acting so nonchalant. I don't know if that's the word.
That's right. No, that's right. That's
right. So it was like, made me feel like, maybe I'm not even pregnant. Have they seen anything in my urine that indicates that I'm not, or my blood or anything like that? Because the way they're just acting is like,
this doesn't make sense.
And I even took a picture of the board because it said something like, urgent cases get treated first or whatever. So I was like, so to you, this clearly isn't urgent because I've been here for 6 hours.
Today.
So, today. The day before, 4 hours. So in total, 10 hours I've been in A&E. And each time I've had to wait. And, people are coming in, people are going, people are coming and people are going, and I'm just still sitting here. So to you, I don't know if it's because it's a female issue, but to you, it's like it means absolutely nothing. Yeah. But it's like they don't think about how the person sitting there is feeling. Yeah. And it's like I went to the desk and I said, oh, how long more, am I going to wait? And she was like, I don't know, you've been here for 4 hours and 55 minutes. Okay, thanks. So how does that help me? When am I going to be seen? You're telling me that so you're making it worse by telling me that I've been here for almost 5 hours at this point.
That was the complete sentence.
So it's like, tell me you've been here for almost 5 hours at this point. And that's supposed to help me feel better. Like, you don't know when I'm going to be seen. Like, it's meant to be a hierarchy of importance or urgency. But I'm obviously at the bottom of the list because I'm just going through a female issue and I'm just losing my child. So that means absolutely nothing because at this point there's nothing you can do. But if there's nothing you can do, don't waste my time. Tell me who I can see and refer me to someone that I can see and be done with that. So I went for the scan, so they saw the pregnancy sac and said I have to come back in 2 weeks, which that in itself was another bit of torture. They didn't give me anything, no leaflet, no nothing, no one to contact if I'm feeling a certain way, just come back in 2 weeks. And no explanation about what the bleeding was or what it was from, no explanation, come back in 2 weeks. I had another scan booked at Queen Elizabeth, which I booked myself anyway, the day before, because I referred myself for that one. How did I even do that? I don't even know how I did that. I think with Queen Elizabeth, you can refer yourself online, but with Downray, I don't know if you can do that. So I referred myself, I'd waited, they called me. So I went the next day, which was Thursday, after this scan, I went for another scan. Now, they were much better there. So they were able to tell me the same thing they saw, the pregnancy sac. I spoke to the nurse. She was able to give me a bit more information about what that means and all that kind of stuff and what they expect to see within a week. And if it's not there, what that means. Okay, cool. That, although it wasn't great news, it was better because I had an understanding of what was happening and, what could happen, etc. What I'm meant to see, what they're meant to see, how big it's meant to grow. And if it hasn't grown that to that size, what that means. Okay, cool. I still was bleeding this whole time. So they gave me an appointment for a week, which was better because it wasn't 2 weeks. 2 weeks is like torture.
Yeah.
I don't know if I think she gave me a leaflet. I think she did, I can't remember. But, no, she just gave me my scan information. Yeah. So that was good because at least I had something written down and I knew, I had clot in there. And I didn't know that from the day before when I went for the scan. They didn't tell me that. But she told me this, so she told me expect to see some clots because you have, we can see on the scan a clot, which was good because I knew I had more information. Yeah. So then the following week I went for a scan again. Obviously this time I was still hopeful that, because when you go on Google, some people say that they have bled, but it's still been fine. They've still had their baby. Because with my second, I bled, but not like this. There was just a little bit of bleed. I went for EP, they saw her, and it was fine. So yeah, I was still bleeding and stuff. So I went for the scan the following week, which was a Wednesday. And then we got there, and it was a different radiographer. She was black. Very, very kind of cutthroat, straight to the point, which is what you don't need in this kind of situation. So lay there, and she scanned me, and then she's like, nothing's there. Is that what you expected to hear? So I'm there thinking, you're a liar. Like, I don't really believe your report because, first of all, the fact that you're even saying like that, you're in the wrong profession. If you want to be a radiographer, you should be doing it for something else, not for this. You just telling me like that there's no baby, that my baby's gone, and you're telling me like that, oh, nothing's there. Like, I don't see anything. I've checked left, I've checked right, I've checked the right side. I don't see anything there. There's nothing. I was like, what you expect to hear? And I said no. I didn't break down on it, anything like that, because it's like, in me, I felt like that's what she wanted, or that's what she was expected to see me, just breaking down in tears. Because just the way she said it, so I didn't cry. She said, do you want to see the nurse? I said no. Because what am I seeing the nurse for at that point? So she came out, gave me the paper, and she was just like staring at me. I was just like, okay, so we're gonna go. Come out of the hospital now, and the first person I see coming opposite me is one pregnant lady. I was like, this is just torture. I've just found out I've lost my baby. And then another pregnant lady is walking towards me. That's what I have to do in the hospital, that's not their fault. But, you know, so I still had hope, and I still had faith that, you know, for any reason she could have just not seen it properly, because the scan said like the visibility was poor. So I was still holding on to faith and all of that stuff. And, you know, because I knew I still had that Darren Valley scan. So I went there the following week, but I was a bit stronger by this point. So I'd already had in my mind that if the baby's there, it's a bonus. But if it's not, okay, I know I'm prepared for that. So I even told the lady, like, you know, I don't think there's a baby there anymore, but just to make sure that everything that's meant to be out is out. So she scanned me, but she was a lot more empathetic. Like, she was like, yeah, you know, I'm sorry and all of that kind of stuff. But still, there was no, like, leaflets or anything when I left. No information of who to contact if I'm feeling certain ways. Not that I would have, or anything like that anyway, but it's just nice you have that. No, let's just know nothing. No follow-up, no nothing. Just, you've lost your baby. Bye. Go move on with your life. Terrible. That's literally it. You're just left to your own devices and just to get over it, basically. I don't know if it's because it was early on, or because I have other children, or because of other things, but they just didn't handle it very well at all. And the trauma that I felt from the NHS, or the NHS to be honest, is what made the trauma. Because even when I was recovering, anytime I think about just that whole experience, sitting in A&E for all them hours, going for those scans and being spoken to like that, or just being treated like you were, or I was, that made me just so sad. It really, really just made, like, if I would cry, it was because I'm thinking about what I went through at that time in terms of just the treatment. And that was, obviously I was sad that I lost the baby, but that just, that made it traumatic. It made it very traumatic for me.
Wow. So we're up to, so when you did the final, like, they told you that everything that was supposed to be out is out. And so now we're going to go to what happens next. So we're going to pause it right there. Join us for the second part of this, where we're going to talk to Sylvia about what the journey has been from that point up until now. And we might come back to the NHS a little bit, because I know you mentioned that you wanted to say some more things about that further on in the video. But please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I don't even know if saying like is even correct. But I think like, for the fact that she's being brave and sharing the journey and what she's been through, and I know so many other women can relate to, whether it's happening to them as they're watching this video, or it's just happened, or it's happened years ago. Or you may know somebody that's dealing with this. So the words that Sylvia will share on, you know, what her journey has been from that point till where she is sitting now on the couch and sharing the recovery process could help somebody else. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Peace out. All right.